Was moe really brought to Akihabara by a 17-year-old girl in a cat-maid outfit? No. The answer is obviously no. But you might still be curious exactly how Akihabara came to be. First, what does it actually look like in real life? And for that, we need to look at the centerpiece of Akihabara, the giant Arakan building. So it's a hilariously massive coincidence that this little-known indie actor named Kirsten Dunst actually did a bit dancing around in front of this building in a schoolgirl outfit, literally the same year Steins Gate came out. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it? Oh my god, I thought you'd never ask.
I've got your picture of me and you. I've got your picture. I've got your picture. I'd like a million of you all of myself. I want a doctor to take your picture so I can look at you from inside as well. Turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese. I really think so. Turning Japanese, I think I'm turning Japanese. I really think so.
So that was awesome. But where did all of this actually come from? Well, you might remember they mentioned that Akihabara used to be an electric town in the 1980s. So what changed? How did this town go from selling electronics and computers to, whatever the fuck this is? Well, I mean, think about it. Who used computers in the 80s? Basically, only turbo nerds. And what kind of people like hentai? That's right, everyone does, obviously. But who liked it back then? Still everyone, obviously. But who actually paid money for it back then? And there's our answer. Well, that was a lot simpler than I thought it'd be before going into this. Akihabara became Akihabara because of hentai. Okay, fair, but was there like any specific impetus for this hentai boom? Well, according to Japanese Wikipedia, the first big change, and this may or may not surprise you, was the release of an anime called Neon Genesis Evangelion. Yes, Evangelion was actually so popular that everyone came to Akihabara to buy pornographic Evangelion doujins. That last part is speculation, but I mean, come on, why else would they come all the way to Akihabara? To buy VHS tapes? Mecha kits? Yeah, I don't think so either. The other important thing you need to know is that buildings don't really last forever. And by pure coincidence, around this time, a lot of the older buildings were falling apart, making room for new, better stuff as soon as the opportunity presented itself. The first big trigger was Evangelion, and the second big trigger for the moe boom, and this, again, may or may not surprise you, was AKB48. Oh, that's right, AKB is short for Akihabara. So basically, Evangelion sold a lot of hentai, and then they made an idol group celebrating Evangelion hentai, and then everyone went nuts, and now we have Steins Gate. Does that sound right? Sure, let's go with that. But maybe we should look at the prehistory again. I mean, Phyllis literally says that her family basically owns Akiba. Is there any truth to that?
フェイリスの家はここら辺の大地主だったんだにゃ。じゃあもしかして秋葉って。そういうことにゃ。
Well, besides the random plot hole where her father was apparently poor when she was a child, apparently the entire area burned down around 1870, so when they rebuilt it, they erected a jinja for 3 firefighting gods that people mistook as a jinja for the firefighting god they already worship named Akiha. And then because of this, the surrounding area started being called Akibagahara and then later Akihabara, which sounds like a confusingly random rearrangement of syllables if you don't understand Japanese. So, if I'm reading this right, this actually means that Akihabara was a mistake. Oh man, that's hilarious. So what about between then and becoming an electric town? Oh, something about a war in black market hentai, who really gives a shit? Let's move on to this.
そちらの状況を伝える。あの女切りやがった。そりゃ切られるっしょ。クリスっていう名前、女子の分際で。はい。でございます。
No, not that. This.
やっぱりメールはしなくても。
フェイリス。
I talked about this at the end of last episode, but I really want you to take away this idea of destiny. Every character, deep down, knows how things are supposed to be, and they each run away from the reality that they know they have to face. Ruka, the reality that Okabe will never be attracted to him. Suzuha, the reality that she has no idea where to even begin looking for her father. Moeka, the true face of FB. Kunisu, that her father will never again love her. Okabe, that, like it or not, every single one of these burdens lies on his shoulders. And so here, this little bit of hesitation, it's literally a couple seconds, but it adds so much to her character. Because what this says, what this tells us, is that Fairness knows that she's running away from reality. So when she agrees to change the world back, this isn't coming out of nowhere. This isn't just because Mayuri dies. It's that she knows deep down that this isn't how things are supposed to be, and that her life is her life, bruises and scratches all, and that no matter how hard it is, it's made her into the person she is today. And what Okabe starts to realize sending this D-mail is how very lucky he is. Because these D-mails could have changed anything, something even unrelated to the D-mail. It's just pure chance that that never happened. Because if he didn't know what changed, then there's no way he would have ever been able to undo it. And slowly, he realizes the danger of playing with time, and this is why he feels like giving up. Because even if he does succeed at undoing each D-mail, who's to say he doesn't accidentally screw something else up in the process, and in trying to undo that, screw something else up, and so on. With Ruka, he assumes that it didn't work and something else changed. But with Fairness, she literally doesn't even know what she sent. Of course, she eventually remembers, but what about Moeka? He has to figure out what went wrong by himself. Playing with time is serious business, and it's a miracle he got through it unscathed. Okabe, throughout Steins Gate, keeps fighting against time and fate, and at the end he decides that there is no cheating destiny. He realizes that there's an order to the universe and that some things are just meant to be, and destroys the phone wave named Subject to Change and the time leap machine. So next time, we fully unpack this idea of fate and destiny. How many of the events of Steins Gate are predetermined? The answer might actually surprise you. Thank you so much for your time, friends, and I will see you again next week.